6:30 Eastern. Trade ideas, live Q&A. Make sure I got sound on here. Video looks good. Audio also looking good. Excellent. So, all right, I see a few people starting to pile in. Open forum is what I always do here. Live Q&A for Trade Ideas software. We could look at charts, whatever you like. I, of course, always try to keep it interesting and keep it moving with some fresh content while I wait for questions to come in. So don't hesitate, fire away. I'll give people a moment here to filter in, and we'll start taking a look around the horn. So, all right, no questions firing away right away. Take a look at some stuff here on my liked list. Cleaned it up a little bit today in the morning. Trying to get rid of some stuff and just take a look here. So DD, first thing that we can take a look at.
Order cancel.
Nice move here. Whoop, switched. There we go. So there's a DD, new issue, China, Uber of China, I do believe. And we could see it was a bit of a disaster IPO, actually. I believe it IPO'd, and then some news came out that China was going to crack down on them for something, if I'm not mistaken. Did I get some DWAC? No, I did not. I stay right away from that stuff. You know better, Mike C. So here, I'll finish this little comment on this, and then I see your question there, Blake. I'll get to that. So, this IPO here, and just I believe that was news from China that was obviously not bullish for them. We bottomed out, and it's made a nice base that's here, all right, and started to make this nice curl up, and almost got it a couple times. Just never pulled the trigger, and I was looking at other things instead. Kudos to Andy here that I work with. He jumped in and he's been in and out of it for a couple of days, and he's been selling on the rips and buying it back on the dips, and he's done really well here. He sold earlier in the day. He was telling me somewhere in this area, and pulled back to the 10 SMA, probably down here around this time, and then did the same thing again. So, but a nice pattern the way it was curling off. It's very liquid stock, obviously. Doing 6 times its relative volume at the moment with 74 million shares traded, almost 75 million shares traded today. But just very nice how it came off this. This was going to be your concern. Blew right through that today, and just a nice move from DD there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this carry the next few days. Maybe a pause or two, but China stocks, they're in favor right now. K-Web, looks like it's trying to make its way back out of the dungeon. Take a look here. It's up from the open today. So, gap down. Made a nice move up, came back, tested that, and it's made a move back up again. So K-Web looks like it's trying, how do we want to see this? Do we see it this way? Do we see it this way? Right now it looks like it's this way. Like we've got a nice pattern forming under here. So that's the story for that. For looking at DD, Blake, any reason interface and charts are lagging? I've been able to manage what seems getting worse. How many docs do you have going on? How many top list windows do you have going on? What's the record count in those top list windows? Right click, time frame, set record count. If you got high record counts, anything I think over 150, 200, you're starting to get on the higher end of things here. I think it's okay to have high record counts like that when you're scanning after hours and you're not worried about speed. During the day, you want to try to keep those numbers lower, though. for my own personal 2 cents, having 150 stocks, 200 stocks on 3, 4, 5 top lists during the day, you're not really going to be able to look at all of those realistically. You're going to be looking at what's at the top of the top list. So those would be my things to ask you at first, Blake. And that's where I kind of head you. And then how many windows do you have overall? Those are the things that are going to affect you the most. Other programs that you may or may not have running the background as well is going to play a role for sure. So you might want to, if there's things you can cut down, I would say that. I haven't noticed more of a lag recently than one time or another. I don't move things too fast myself anyways, but, I'm running so much software. It's hard for me to comment. I have streaming software. I have Slack. I have Zoom. I have some other troubleshooting software in here for answering when you guys email and come into the chat. So take a look through some of that and see if there's any windows that you can eliminate. There's nothing that I know on our end that's changed. We are aware there are some chart lags. We are working on them. We brought in a contractor specifically to work on fixing that. So let me know if any of those suggestions help for you there, Blake. And then Mike C. DWAC. Yeah. I'll be honest, I just don't pay attention to any news. So this has something to do with Trump is what you're saying, I guess. And just shows you how little I pay attention to the news. I just don't. Just hilarious, though. I mean, looking at this, who knows what it does from here. Funny stuff. Bless anybody that could trade it. I was watching the time and sales on this earlier, and I'll bring over time and sales for it now. And, this is tamed compared to what it was when it was breaking 30 and moving up into 40. And, we had an internal bet going on after the halt. I guess it had a halt down. And so was it going to close above or below 30? And I said above. And I don't think it's going to give up 30 by the time the market closes now. Not that it's impossible, but certainly not likely at this point. So, and then 90 seconds for new candles to appear after several times. That's no, Blake. I don't know if you have something else that's going on. Make volatility great again. That's for sure. I mean, between that and what was the one that did it yesterday? HX, right? What did HX do today? I haven't even looked at a chart of HX today. No surprise on that chart whatsoever. Hilarious. I mean, this isn't even close to the what? Well, I mean, I think DWAC was starting at around $10, and this is, starting, much higher and had a few more days going in to get it rolling anyways. But all the same, no surprise what that chart looks like at all. So we'll see, our China stocks, just going to be these big pop and drops, especially you look at these things, 1.96 million in the float. I mean, thing can turn on a dime, absolutely insane. So the other thing, Blake, is, anytime you're getting hung up, head to the accounts tab and reset your connection and see what that does. Sometimes, things get hung up in the servers and the pipeline coming to you. And that might be a quick solution for you too. So check that out. All right, what else do we have going on here? Yep, exactly. Make volatility good again. Good stuff. Some other stuff that I was looking at here. Been watching this one for a long time, REKR, and it's like every time I'm ready to pull the trigger on it, I'm about to set a limit order, try to get something at the bottom of the limit order, it pulls one of these moves here, and I decide not to do it. And today it seemed like, great idea not to take that trade. And then, of course, I deleted the price alert that I had for it and got involved in some other things, made a nice move. It's one of those other, stocks too, where it's now traded 600,000 shares, but it didn't really have any volume come into it till afternoon. We can see there. And of course here on that big candle, both volume and price wise. So as I'm watching it in this early going here, I'm just like, all that volume is selling, and I just don't think it's good. So I took it off the radar, unfortunately, but it's one of those ones that can definitely make a move. That kind of line there is going to be a line in the sand, but certainly can make a nice pop up to there. So anyway, some of the stuff that I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about. some pros and pros and cons on E-Trade versus interactive brokers in regards to using Brokerage Plus and Holly AI. Yes and no, Blake. I use IB now. They're okay. I like Brokerage Plus enough that I switched from Thinkorswim to IB. That's how I feel about Brokerage Plus. I just like the interface of Brokerage Plus. I don't need anything fancy for getting in and out of trades, hotkeys, and all those things like that. So that's where I stand for that. I'm not crazy about IB overall, and the second we get Thinkorswim, as soon as we get that working again, I'll be switching right back to TD Ameritrade, barring something crazy coming from IB to keep me here. The difference is, what you're paying for. E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, any of your free brokers, whenever there is massive market volatility for whatever reason, they lag. Sometimes you can't log in. They have issues. Haven't seen it in a long time from any of those platforms. IB never has that problem whatsoever. The other thing with E-Trade is their shortable list is not great overall. IB is a much better short list, if you're shorting stocks. Holly does short things, so I don't know how much of the stuff she comes with that's hard to borrow. And, there's no way for us to filter hard to borrow stocks because, there are thousands of people that use Holly and don't use IB. So, we can't base her strategies, number one, off of a hard to borrow list from any one broker. Every broker is different broker to broker, and it's just not data that's readily available in that sense for us to scrub and pull like that. So that would be kind of my for what it's worth. There's definitely less work to do with linking E-Trade. You don't have to pay them for data. What else is there? And obviously E-Trade's commission free. So, it's not quite a get what you pay for with IB because IB's customer service is kind of shoddy, if you will. They talk to everybody like, they're very condescending, IB, to say the least. And they talk to everybody like they're an idiot. And that's just my opinion on them. And we have a relationship with them, and sometimes the relationship's good, sometimes it's not. With E-Trade, there's less of a relationship there, but there's also less work to do. You don't have to pay for data as long as I think your account has $2,500 in it. You're set to go as far as E-Trade data goes. So those are the kind of pros and cons with the two of them. I'm just going to stick with IB. I didn't feel like moving to E-Trade, and, I've had enough moving things around and learning brokerage platforms. I started with Fidelity. I moved to TD Ameritrade. I moved to IB. I moved back to TD Ameritrade. I moved back to Fidelity. I moved back to IB, and I'm just staying with IB for now. So that's kind of that's my 2 cents and all that. And I really don't have a issue with TD or Fidelity. Just I like Brokerage Plus enough that I'm going to keep IB till then. So that's my rundown on those items that are there. Let's see, match. It's so funny when, I can't speak for what goes on in the rest of the country, but here in New York beginning of last summer when things started to open up around here where I am in New York, and I was still working, my background is actually in restaurants, and I was still working in a restaurant at that time. This was, summer of 2020. And there were so many first dates going on, people coming out and, whatever, having your first lunch date or whatever it was. And I said to myself, you watch Match and things like that and see what they do. And, I'm trying to find back here, Match was, all through here, down in here, right around in here is where I said, you watch Match, somewhere in here. Not a bad run since then. I can't say I took the trade or anything, but I thought to myself, this stock might be prime for a run because everybody wants to get back out and date and whatever else they want to do. And so must have been news here, no, for Match to have that big move like that. Let's see what IB says. Match. So Google Play cut their fees, I guess. And so Bumble, which is part of Match. So that's where you got that from. So interesting stuff. All right. There's Match. What else were we talking about? DPZ, Mike C. Domino's Pizza. Yeah, not a bad move. Really overdone here. I'm not sure why it's under so much pressure here. I mean, other than the fact that it's a pizza chain over $500 in price, but that's a whole other story. Kind of reminds me of Sam Adams beer being over $1,000 a share, but things like that always baffle me. But interesting stuff here, yeah. What's it doing on the old relative volume scale? Not sitting right at normal at 300,000 shares. Not even much traded there. Interesting, but 1.8%, $8 on the day. Take that to the bank, of course. So what else do we have coming through here today? Let's take a spin on to Holly real quick. Some mixed kind of feelings here about Holly. This here, eh. The numbers look great, but there's more to these numbers. Your moderate profits here and your max profit is there. It's based on share sizing for $100 risk on the stop loss. That $500, $589 max profit. I mean, that's a tasty looking profit, of course. And there's your entry and here's your last price and all these good things like that. My issue with this, though, is two things. One, only traded 278,000 shares today with a 6 relative volume. So that's kind of Now, the time and sales here don't look so bad on the spread considering it's a 40-something stock right now. However, the spread was much larger earlier when I noticed this and was in some discussions about it. And for an illiquid stock like that and to be doing that much is kind of rough. That's all. And then you look at this daily chart. I mean, it is what it is. You put an order in, you get a fill, on the lower end of that order, great. And if not, one of those times where automation could really, really hurt you or really, really help you. And this one probably would have helped you because the stock just kept going, no problem. You're never in pain off that entry, really. Something much nicer, of course, ABB. And this was much, much nicer, almost 3 times relative volume to close out the day here. 3.1 million shares traded today. Beautifully top ticked here. Great move down. All right. And this would be one of those ones where I say, you're range bound. How long do you want to stick around and find out where it's going or not? Take some of those cookies, take a piece of that cookie while it's on the table there. Really good stuff. Yeah, I agree with you there, Mike C, on that. I always liked Fidelity's executions. I like everything about them. There's someone we're trying to talk to them, but it's never, a lot of people fail to understand for us in linking to people. It's not just, hey, let's link to this company's, to a direct API link. They have to open that door for us. There's more to it. We got to get in there. We got to talk to these people, finding the right people. And you're talking about companies with tens of thousands of people that work for them, and finding the right person to open the right door is not something that's easy. So, but no, I like Fidelity. If we ever got Fidelity as a link, I'd go right back to them over anybody in a heartbeat. But like I said, I like Brokerage Plus a lot. And so it is what it is. With all that said, so, ABB, just a beautiful play here. A lot of things that I really like about this trade. You've got a massive gap down to start with. Okay. You're not worried about the uptick rule because that's where you are right now. So you're not under 10%. No worries there. You could see the move that it had made here, and it got rejected off that opening candle. All right. And makes that beautiful move down there. So pretty textbook stuff from Holly on that today. Never in pain on that trade. Not even to this moment. You were always in the money. Very, very nice trade from Holly right there on ABB. So doing it from the short and the long side today. A little more success on the short side again here. So TCBI, and this one a little more thin, but all the same, almost 600,000 shares traded today. So definitely enough to get in and out. The spread, I don't think was ever anything too ridiculous for a $60 stock. You put your order in, you're going to get a fill. Just a nice initial move off that, and then, kind of wobbling around the rest of the day, but never got you in trouble. You just touched that entry line one more time, and that was it. I would be, things like this, be cautious. You got this big candle here, what's going on there? It's a massive candle moving around like that. All right. But you can see here, she put a roof in, she put a floor in, and it really just remained range bound for the rest of the day. So, but a nice initial move off that. We talk about the winners, talk about the losers. So you got stop hit here. You're never really in the money on this, anyways. Uh, Kind of a blah move here. China stock, of course. So five on the old relative volume, or sorry, almost six on the old relative volume. 1.1 mil shares traded today, so plenty of liquidity. She just top ticked it. Unfortunately, she got a hit with the head fake. And honestly, it looked like you get a day like today. China stocks are hot. We're making a break here. It's not the first candle that we're getting it on. We're getting on the second candle. We look like we're ready to go. Might be some room to there. That seems like a decent resistance level there. But you got to watch these these under $5 stocks like this. And that was it. Rejected right off there. So, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. There was no spread to be had on here. I don't think anybody would be quick enough to get in and out and really do anything much on those few moments that you were in the profit there. It wasn't much of a profit anyways. Max column, $15, and that's with 500 shares would have been taken. So realistically, there just wasn't anything there on that one. Unfortunately, that's the way cookie crumbles sometimes, though. So if anybody, I see people coming in, coming out. If anybody's got questions, please fire them away for me. I'm, more than happy to answer questions. Like I said many times now, it's much nicer when you're helping me create the content instead of me just droning on and on and on about what's on my screen. Is there anything else really noteworthy from Holly? Not really. Just, interesting to note that we're, just a hair off all-time highs. And she's shorting today. She had a lot of success shorting today. Out of 8 trades, three of them are short, and all three worked. Reduce risk here on MGA. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at this chart. I don't think I looked at it today. So, let's see. We get the entry signal on this candle here. Put you in a little bit of pain. Never got to the stop. Made a nice move here, but couldn't hold on to that and kind of just started drifting the rest of the day. And so, unfortunately, it became a reduced risk when it got back above that entry line that was there. So, one of those things where you talk about a second mouse gets the cheese, maybe see that initial entry, punch back up again, but it never gets back above that high of the day, that opening candle off that gap down. So maybe something where, you're setting another alert, high one of these candles here. Maybe you got a few bucks that way, different ways to look at these, find the spread in between those trades. So no one way to skin a cat, as they say. So, all right, still nothing coming here on the old questions panel. Take a look here at some other stuff. Just want to take a look back here at DWAC. How are we closing? So, Mike, see, you shorted from 50, right? Are you in from 50 short? Interesting stuff. I wonder what this does tomorrow. I wonder if anybody's brave enough to hold shares overnight. So, all right, that's that. Tom, I do all my trades through Brokerage Plus. The only time I don't use Brokerage Plus is if I'm in the after hours and I'm, trying to put in like a low ball bid on something I want to buy, or, way up high on something that I own that I want to sell. I put it in through Trader Workstation. And that's it if it's after hours. Other than that, everything is done through Brokerage Plus for me. I very, very much like the interface. Just, it's really clean and simple here. Bring it over and connect it to the simulator. Still got a position on the simulator from I don't know when. But, look, buy and sell. Put your account here. Symbol loads for you. Whoops. Do it like this. The symbol loads for you, so there's not a lot of work to be done, loads up, prices here and all that stuff, market price, make a quick enter here, with my number pad, just really easy, click on it, boom, flatten, done, I'm out, kill half the trade. I'm a big proponent of killing half a trade, boom. There's no other things that I need to do. A lot of pointing and clicking, orders tab, I can see everything clearly here. My executions, I can see them here, and commission and all those things like that. Just real easy stuff, that's just my kind of 2 cents. Yeah, I link my IB to it. I don't have it linked currently. I don't really have much going on today. It was more active yesterday than I was today. Just everything that I was watching today. Nothing happened early for me, and I got busy with other stuff, and so trading kind of went the way of the dodo for me today, unfortunately. A few things got away from me, but as I tell people, I'd rather miss out on the upside than participate in the downside. So that's just my philosophy in trading personally. It took me a long time to realize I don't have to trade every day. So that's the short and skinny why I like that. Take a look here. Sorry, a lot of questions are coming in on our emails and things like that. So, all right. Anyways, so other things I was looking at during the day today. Let's see here. Watch this. I really like this chart, but wasn't crazy about the action that happened. But I love this right here. Love that move right there. But then again, I see this big candle here, off this open. I'm like, all right, let's see if we can catch up with the moving averages, and it catches up to the moving averages, but going the wrong way on me here, and just kept going. Unfortunately, made a nice reversal now. So we'll see what that means for tomorrow. Just some weird price action from some things lately, and something I've noticed with this list lately is for a few months, everything that I was doing on this list, and I curate it myself, was beautiful. Anything that I was getting in the first 45 minutes that it goes off, it won't start till 9:45 in the morning, was beautiful moves for 45 minutes, an hour. Now everything that it's catching for the last 3 weeks, it's catching a lot of tops, reversing. It has a 2% stop loss that I'm working with on it, and getting stopped out before returning back up on me. So just, something I've noticed from what's happening with my own eyes and setups that I'm watching. And it tells me that it's been more of a, watch what moves up and watch what pulls back, and see if the pullback is finding support market for my eye lately is what I've been finding. So something I've tried to adjust to a little bit in my own personal trading. Let's see if there's some other examples of that going on here. Yeah, so same thing, only this pulled back and just kind of kept going. And I like this chart here, but just this line seems to want to gravitate right back to it. So we'll see what happens. Continue up the list. Didn't really get a chance to look through this at all today, as a matter of fact. So we're doing it together for the first time. So same kind of stuff here. And all these things make these initial moves. They look like they're set to go, and rejected. This was the same thing. Another great looking chart to me here. This is, this great move, pulled back into that 8 EMA, and I thought, all right, we're set for liftoff here. And again, I was ready to take the trade here. I didn't. And again, very glad I didn't. So that patience, and some of these these are early alerts, even at, 9:46, waiting 15, 16 minutes for the market to try to, make up its mind. And again, so here's another one. This was a gap down. Looked like it was ready to go, ready to come back up. Couldn't do it. Has now done it later in the day. I had no price alert, and I was not ready for that at all, that move. I think this collapsed on me too here. Yep. So this, again, we look like we're set to go. So this is what my eye's been catching lately. These moves where it's initial pop and then a quick drop later in the day. So all stuff that I'm unfortunately running into right now with that list. So, we make adjustments. That's what we do as traders. And then again, I don't see any questions or comments coming in. You guys are awfully silent today on me here. We got less than 2 minutes till the market closes here. So I thought we were going to do all-time highs today with the SPY. I really did. Thought just, we're sitting there. Market's going to want it, 454.05. That's your all-time high. And we're just off it here. So I don't think we'll get it in the next 65 seconds or so. So a couple of things you could do here, Tom. We don't have a dark theme, but we have a way for you to make a dark theme using Windows settings. So, first you can come and right click and you can select background color on your charts. All right. So you can change that all in here to what you want on your charts. And then here, Tom, check this out and find the user's guide. You can set up dark theme with Windows. I'm going to drop a link here momentarily for you to figure out how to do so. So, Tom, go ahead and check this out. That's from our user's guide. All right. And if you ever, anything you're thinking about ever, let's see here, user's guide. Get into the user's guide here. I'm going to drop a link for the full user's guide. There you go. And I'm going to bring it over. And you can search anything in here. I really don't think she missed anything. If it exists within Trade Ideas, it's in here. So you've got all these quick links that are here, are like this, real fast, 1, 2, 3, and then you could always move over to here and search, through the table of contents. And so where I just found what I just shared with you. All right, so chart windows, chart dark theme right there. All right. And this goes to show you how to do it right here. All right. And so we got a way for you to do this. So hopefully that'll help get you and ease the burden on your eyes a little bit. Because I'm with you. During the day, this doesn't bother me. When I start my computer at 5 o'clock in the morning here and getting blasted in the face with this blue light, it's not exactly ideal for me either. So I'm with you on that for the dark theme. So that's our workaround for it right now. I don't know what's coming in the future for, there's a lot of stuff that I can see being worked on in the background, but I dare not reveal any of it because, some things get started and they're not so easy and can take a long time. So I kind of leave it at that. So anyways, we were talking about the SPY cheating me on all-time highs today. RSP did all-time highs yesterday. It's your equally weighted S&P 500 there, and doing it again today. So there you have it again with the RSP. Took out all-time highs yesterday, gapped up over it, and then today took a dip down, moving right back up here into the close. So some impressive stuff. Let's take a look at what the big boys are doing. Apple just kind of hanging around here. That's an interesting candle from Apple. Interesting set of candles. Running some stops, obviously, is what I'd go with. Facebook. Tom, I couldn't comment on if it's something that's that difficult to put into the platform or not. I'm not a programmer or code writer, so I don't have an answer, unfortunately, on that. I know that some of the other people that I work with here have used what I just dropped in there. They've been able to have some success with that for making the dark theme work for them that way. But as far as how difficult something is to put in, I really don't have an answer, unfortunately. So Facebook here, just kind of flopping around now. Not really moving anywhere at this point. I'd say at this point it's a standoff for earnings in a couple of days. Earnings and guidance. I'm not sure, all this stuff is kind of nonsense. They can say whatever they want anyways. Take a look at Google. Probably the same thing because you have earnings the next day. Yeah, earnings the next day for Google. So Same kind of thing here. I think you're going to have a big standoff. As far as any of these guys goes, they all get ready to report. We're in earnings season, so you got a slew of things that are going to be reporting over the next couple of weeks. And we'll kind of see how that all goes, as far as the market, which direction we take. Who else is a major player to look at for us here? So I know IBM. Some news come out about us issuing debt to pay a dividend. Yep, that can't be helping anybody at all. Earnings yesterday, issuing debt. Boy, that is not healthy. That is not healthy at all. Draw a line and see what we look at for IBM for some levels here. Isn't that something? All this. I'm right back to it. So no happy accident that all this went on, and that's where we're going to close out the day on today. So let's see. If that breaks that, kind of really looking at this level as your next level down here to 120 would be my guess. My best guess, anyways. We'll see what happens with poor IBM. So, and again, we're on a live forum here, so, fire away some questions. See, getting a message internally here. Yeah, let's take a look. Can you take a look at Baba? Sure. Has it even done anything since Jack Ma went missing? Nope. Just falling. I don't know when he disappeared or whatever happened. But Chinese internet stocks are making a comeback. This looks very similar to the K-Web here. All that right there. So it's interesting stuff. We'll see what it can or can't do. Zoom in a little closer here for some more recent price action here. So we've reclaimed the 50 here, holding that nicely. All right. 8 EMA has rocketed up on us. 20 is trying to play catch up. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Baba there. There's your level. And so that's your next level. All right. So if it continue to grind higher, the problem is it's China. What are they going to do? What are they going to say? You're in a big downward spiral for a very, very long time. So, it's overdone. That's for sure. So that's kind of my 2 cents on Baba. That's there. You're in that big downward trend. So I wouldn't, anything you decide to do, I'd have a very short leash on it. Think and move fast on news. That's for sure. Discussed DVAX the other day, an interesting one here. So, maybe setting up again for another run. That massive pull up came down, filled that level. And setting back up here. Very liquid stock, but it's funny how relative volume works, doing half its average over 10 days, but traded 2 mil shares. So that's kind of interesting the way that works out like that. Not a small float to say the least, but this thing can really cook. Let's take it says an all-time high of 53. So, probably got to go way back for that. I can't even get it on a daily chart here. Let's see if we can get it on a weekly chart. Wow, can't even get that on a weekly chart. I'm guessing maybe a reverse split went on with this, if anybody knows. So, are any other other charts you want me to look at, or other questions? Fire away. There we go. Got it way back to 2012 to find that all-time high. So I wouldn't say that's any concern whatsoever. And you got to come all the way back here to find into 2017 to find more resistance. So one of those ones we get it going. We'll see what happens here, but definitely something I'm going to keep my eye on. That's for sure. And bring it back to a daily time frame. There we go. I do like the way that's starting to set up, and talked about how some of these things, pulling away from the moving averages, these faster moving averages, pulling back into it, and then move up again afterwards. So MH, something with the calendar. So the calendar, it isn't going to update today until tomorrow. That's one of the things for sure. So you have to, that's probably going to be one of your issues. Let me pull over my Brokerage Plus tab here. Connect to the simulator. So calendar. There we go. So, mine is, I'm looking accurate here for what I got, but, today now it's updated for this. Did it update? What's it got here? So that should be, that's that there. My question is calendar B plus tab shows 8 trades with probably, however, my positions and summary tab show 3 trades. Do me a favor, MH. Take screenshots of literally everything you can and send it here for me. I don't have a specific reason why you'd be off, other than it hasn't settled. But let's see here. Profit 1.5. Today profit. So yeah, minus 18 cents is what it's showing here for one share. So, all right, send that in for me, and because if there's something off of the date, I'm going to have to pass it on to my data peoples. So I look all right over here. We'll take a look at what you got going on over there. So DWAC closed at 49. Trade. I'm sorry. Hold on. Info at trade-ideas.com. And I'll be the one that handles it. So you'll be hearing from me on what I dive into with that. MH. DWAC closed at 49.43, huh? I'm sure it's moving in the after hours again. Oh, it was at 49.43, all right, at that time. INTC. What is Intel Corp doing? Some of these old tech companies, it just, they don't have a lot of innovation. And they rely on what they used to do, and, we'll see. But that's range bound for a long time here. It's broken it. Now it's moving back up off of it. Interesting stuff. Obviously, we did not like whatever came out right there. Good pointing out there, Mike C. I mostly stay away from the earnings stuff. No, I got you, J1. I figured as much. I didn't realize the time that you had posted it. Time is moving a little quicker on me than I realized here with all this. So, again, open forum. Someone's got questions on the software, and I'll keep an eye for that ticket from you there, MH. All right, going through some other questions that are coming through here on the other side of questions for me. See what I've got lined up when I finish this live stream. Back to the other side of work for me. And again, take a look at the bottom of things that I was looking at today. So, Bitcoin, all that fun stuff going on with cryptos. I don't really do anything in the world of crypto. I look at some charts, but I don't participate. I thought, all right, maybe we're going to get this one going again. Started to get really running back here, and we had that pullback. Thought to myself, all right, are we going to get ramped up here? And obviously not. We'll see how that all goes. Tricky thing here. And then what do we have? Is this the this Bitcoin ETF or whatever it is? Did I do the right symbol? No. There we go. So, I don't really understand any of this, why someone's going to do this instead. And, all the people that are smarter than me, then I ask, what's the point of it? They said there isn't any. So that'll work for me. Filter on risk management. Do you mean if we come to strategies? Risk management here? Is that what you're talking about there, Aja? Not everything will come through here. Actually, I was having a discussion with someone earlier about this. Let me see what came of that discussion. I don't really use any of that stuff there. Inquire to see what was the end game of that there, because I have some of my customs are in here and I don't have a reason why they are and why the other ones aren't, like this percent of ATR that's in here. So let me see if I can get you an answer on that. Okay, so since you switched to the beta, well, we changed something on the beta 2 with this. Hold on, so maybe that had an effect that we weren't seeing on our end, but we now added here. So we've added this now. Before it was only in dollar values, and we've added where is it? We've got a percent now. Sorry, there it is. So before it couldn't find percent. So let me see here what they say. saying Trump's thing is worth 1/30th of Twitter. Who knows? Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't even realize that's what this was. I had to just actually look it up when Mike C had mentioned it before with the DWAC here. Who knows? I'm sure a lot of people made money on this today. I'm sure a lot of people lost money on this today. That's just insanity right there. 35 bucks in a day, 40 bucks in a day. All the power to anybody that got a piece of that. So, all right, looking at that. I'm waiting to see what someone says there about the customs, but it might be something with the beta. Do me a favor, send a ticket in here so I can push that along to the dev team and they can look at it too. About your custom filters not showing there anymore. So take a look real quick here. Got about 10 minutes before we wrap up my evening scan and see what's kind of coming through this here and see if we find anything. So, I discussed that sometimes there's a theme that's coming through here. China stocks have been coming through heavy. Banks have been coming through really heavy. So XLF, I have to imagine that's still looking pretty healthy. There it is, peaked out another all-time high before giving it back up again. Seems fairly normal. KRE, much of the same, and KBE, much the same. So seen a lot of bank plays also in the TI strength alerts. A lot of banks were in that this morning. So we take a look around the horn here at some of the stuff going on. Surgical, China, more China, nope. Computer manufacturing though, interesting. That's an interesting looking chart. Got to worry about is this up overhead here though, but I like this big long base that it's putting in, trying to start to curl up there. 5 million in the float, so that's something you want to be careful with. Earnings post market we're reporting today, and obviously the market did not like that, but what it does today and what it does tomorrow could be two different things. So we'll see how that sets up. This might be something to watch for tomorrow though. SCKT, everybody's getting healthy with Nautilus. Thing was a darling for COVID, like a lot of other ones. This massive run up, revision back to the mean, massive run up again. I'd have to believe that selling's overdone, but we'll see here. We got a couple of weeks before we report earnings on that too, so that might have, might have just had its one day in the sun today. We'll see. I don't think it's anything too noteworthy. There's DD showing back up again though. See unit. I did not expect to see saw it make this close yesterday and then just off to the races again today. Have to believe that it's a bit overdone, but you never know. Interesting to look at it for tomorrow still. KDMN. So in a buyout. I had this one on my list a while ago, I think somewhere back here, and just made this fade. Hadn't seen it come back up on it in a while though, so that's a nice move that it's making right there though. We'll see. A little extended again now after 2 days in a row. Some room to clear here. And we know that this is one that can make those, massive runs. I know this did this several years ago, made a run up to like 60 or something like that in a couple of days. We'll see how that pushes out the next few days. So a lot of these are overextended here, unfortunately. This isn't looking as healthy as I'd like it to my list today. So there's not a lot for me to add probably to my personal list here. We're seeing a lot of custom computing, semiconductors, chips, electric devices, and that seems to be kind of the theme that's coming through this right now. So we'll see what that means in the next few days. Also seeing SPACs have been coming through this a lot. Most of the SPACs I'm finding have been at the bottom of the list recently. This one, made its run. And a short growth. Short float still a little over 10%. Very liquid still. I like the way that closed today. Might have a nice, might have a pop in it again tomorrow. You've got to look at that as your overhead resistance. We discussed the housing, the XLB, the home builders. They've been strong. And, we're seeing it again here. A couple-day run here. Again, probably overdone for tomorrow, especially being Friday. Usually later volume day on Fridays. Zuo, this is one that just keeps plugging away no matter what it seems. Gap down today and just reversed beautifully off this gap down all day long again. So, that is just so extended. Like I said, I liked it back here, and then when it made this move, I didn't get a piece of it, and just watching it all these days, crying in my soup. Mail order houses, so same kind of thing. Landscaping. I wonder if that has to do with homes. Architectural structure services. Yep. So, take a look back here at the XLB and the home builders. What did that do today? Washout bounce. So showing some strength here, that gap down and a move to fill the gap right back up again. Take a closer look in. So that kind of hammer candle there. Wouldn't be surprised to see it take that out tomorrow and make a move again. So anything home builder wise that you're watching, I'd be keeping an eye on. SunPower. Like this setup right here, that red bar ignore on a daily chart. You got a little bit of room up to there. And, a lot of the theme that I'm talking about for stuff that I'm watching, you see it's on my liked list. Now, it didn't trigger on this scan here today. But that big move up, pull back, and then a bounce off the pullback. So it seems to be a big theme for stuff that's coming off this list here for me, off that My Evening Scan list. So 426. If anybody's got any last minute questions, fire them away. Otherwise, we'll get ready to wind this down. 427. Kind of keep moving through these. Another SPAC, investment tool, investment trust, same kind of theme. Not very interesting to me. CMG. I've had Chipotle once in my life, and it was an utter disgusting disappointment, and I will never go back again. And I know people love this place, but I never had it. It was so popular for years. Everybody's got to try it, and I tried it. And as someone who worked in restaurants for 27 years, I tried it, and I said, nope, one and done. However, their shareholders must be as happy as can be. That's a strong chart. About as strong as you get. Right, when I'm connected to Brokerage Plus, so how can I enable Holly and selected strategies for market opens tomorrow? I already saw a video. It's not clear. So we're going to make this extra clear for you. This is where my expertise comes in. Here's your Brokerage Plus window, okay? I'm connected to the Trade Ideas Simulator. It doesn't matter what you connect to, whether it's going to be IB or simulated, but I'm going to do a simulated just for, I'm an okay cook, Mike C. I spent more of my time bartending and waiting tables and managing than anything else. Um, but back to this here. So here we're in Brokerage Plus. We've loaded it. All right. You're going to come to here where it says selected accounts. Make sure you're connected to Trade Ideas Simulated Trading there. All right. You're going to come to Holly where it says off. Before you do anything, you turn Holly on. You're going to first here right click and you're going to edit long instructions. When you edit the long instructions, you're editing all the long strategies. When you edit the short instructions, you're editing all the short strategies. All right. You can turn individual strategies on or off, but you cannot edit individual strategies. It's an edit for all long and edit for all short. You're going to come into the edit. Okay. And you're going to select an account here. All right. You're going to click there. So edit. Right now it says account none. We're going to click account. Whatever your account is, whatever you're connecting to, that's going to be there. All right. You're going to connect that. You're going to save. All right. And you're going to decide, are you going conservative or moderate for your risk? Okay. Then you're going to decide, how are you share sizing? Or are you position sizing? Are you buying a fixed amount of shares? Are you just buying 100 shares, 30 shares, 50 shares? Are you buying a fixed amount of dollars here? $100 worth of stock, $500 worth of stock? Or are you basing your stop risk on a stop loss, which is her stop loss? All right. So you're risking, $30 based on her stop loss, $100 based on her stop loss, $500 based on her stop loss. All right. That's all the things you need to decide up on this end of things. All right. Then you have to decide, are you going in at market or are you going in at limit? If you go in at a limit, what are you going to set your offset at? You're going to want a negative number, because if you go with a positive number, you're probably not getting filled. It means more of, going in more aggressive. All the usual market mechanics apply to this here. So you decide what you want to go in for your limit offset if that's what you decide. -5 cents, a -10 cents, a -15 cents, whatever you think is right. And then you can change the time and force if you want. This is what the default is going to be here: 3 minutes and 20 seconds. How long the order will sit there waiting to get filled before it can't auto cancels. And after you've done that, you're going to click save on your long instructions. All right. You'll right click and you're going to come to edit short trading instructions, and you're going to do the exact same thing. Edit account. You're going to select the account. All right. Save. You're going to decide you're moderate or conservative. You're once again going to decide, how is your position sizing done? By fixed dollars, fixed shares, or based on the stop loss? And you decide the denomination there. And again, are you going market? Are you going limit? What are you doing for that? And once again, decide your delta, your limit offset there. Time and force, again, if you want to change that, you're welcome to. You're going to click save. Once you've done that, you can either go one by one and right click and enable selected strategy, or you can click, drag, highlight, and enable 11 selected, or whatever the number is going to be tomorrow. I don't know how many that she'll come with for tomorrow. So, nope, no bouncer work, Mike. See, I'm a small guy. And that's it. That's it on setting up Holly. Now, the more quote unquote complicated stuff comes in the fact that, is it a day where the market's gapping down and she came with all long strategies? Do you want to go long? Do you want to enable all those long strategies? Is it a day where the market's gapping up and she has all short strategies? Do you want to go short? There's no way to know what stock she's going to alert ahead of time. There's no way to know what the spread's going to be. There's no way to know the liquidity of it. So those are all things that you have to know as a trader, and what you want to do with those things. So, there's no advice that I can give you on that. You have to decide, am I a limit order? Am I a market order? If I'm a limit, what's my offset? These are the things that you have to decide as a trader. I know you said the video isn't clear. I have this video that I made that goes over exactly what I just showed you there. I'm going to drop that here for you. You do exactly what I just showed you there. Everything I just showed you, do that at 9 o'clock Eastern. Do it half an hour before the market opens. This video goes over everything I just showed you, just in a little more detail. Again, And who are you connecting to? Are you connecting to E-Trade or are you connecting to IB? So have you connected with IB yet? Have you connected Brokerage Plus to IB? Because you also have to set up the IP port, the port setting, and all those things like that. And that video, Michael Noss is pretty clear about how to set that stuff up. I can't show you on screen because I have a live account. I can't bring my account information over. He had a dummy account for that video. Okay, so you've set the port to 97. What is it, 9630 or something like that? I don't even know anymore. It's been so long. Let's see if I can actually bring over the global configuration without giving up information that I don't want to give up. Nope, I can't do that. API. Yeah, 7496. All right, so you've got the socket port. You have here. This is what I can do. Okay, it should look like this. This is exactly what yours should look like. All right. That's how you should have it set up. If you have that all set up, all right, you're already connected, no issues there. All right, perfect. All right, then everything else, when you go into this here, get rid of all this other stuff on my screen. When you go into this here, enter, and you go to edit account, your IB account should be here. All right. That's how it says simulated trading for me. It's going to say account, blah, 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 whatever your account number is. And that's it. All right, on those instructions. So do that. You do it an hour before the market opens. All I'll say is don't leave trade ideas running all night long because we do stuff on the server side with data that can get interrupted. So shut it down when you go to bed tonight, and then when you wake up in the morning, if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, whatever time you wake up in the morning, come right to this. You come right to the Holly tab, right click, edit long, select the account. All right. Select your risk. Select your share sizing. Select your order type. And then if like I said, if you have a limit, you're going in here and do that for the long and do that for the short. That's really it. No, Holly does it. She looks at, there's 80 something hundred stocks in the stock market. She's looking at all 8,700 of them. There's no way to know anything ahead of time about her. The only thing you can know ahead of time is in her trades window. Her strategy window is what her strategies are. So if you go to new and you go to strategy window, you're going to get this. All right. And these are the actual strategies. And you can see long, short, cuts like a knife, all these things like that. And a right click here, you can go into the columns and you can change your columns around what's being displayed here. All right. And you can look at all this stuff that's in here to see, what the win percentage was on the back test, what the profit factor was on the back test coming into it. And you can see all these things that are here for it. Okay. And that's the only information you're going to get ahead of time. That's it. And then on the AI strategy trades window, there's two different windows, not to be confused with each other. So you've got, this is the strategy window we just went over. This is the strategy trades window. That's this window here. And when the trades happen, you're going to see trades here. Now, this is only an alert window. This has absolutely nothing to do with Brokerage Plus. It has nothing to do with auto trading, anything like that. This is just her alert window. And when she gets a trade, you're going to get the entry time and price and however this is set up for you here. That's all going to be there. And when the earliest she'll ever make an alert is 9:35. That doesn't mean she'll make an alert at 9:35, but that's the absolute earliest she'll ever make an alert. And you'll get it all there. All right. And you'll have, your stop price and all those things like that. If whatever you want to put on here, again, right click, columns, This is what you're displaying, and these are all the things you can display. And if you want to get rid of something, click it here, move it back left so it's not there. All right. Something you want to see, move it back over this way. And that's the short and skinny of Holly. Yes, you can enable everything in Brokerage Plus. You can enable all this stuff before 9 o'clock in the morning. Just, my recommendation is between the hours of 11 p.m. Eastern and 1 a.m. Eastern, have trade ideas off. And you can turn it, you can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning tomorrow and set this all up if you want. But just for that short window of time, those couple of hours, there's stuff that goes on server side data wise that can affect Holly. So that's it. But you can come in here, edit this, at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Sit down, have your coffee at your desk, edit your long strategies, and then after you've edited, you've done all the editing that we've gone over, enable. Now you see they all say on. All right. And that's it. And again, click highlight, and now they all disabled. Now they all say off, and that's it. And you'll see Holly on, Holly off here. Ready? Enable, Holly on, disable, Holly off. Yes, you have to do that every morning. You don't have to, you have to turn her on every morning. Once you set this up here, unless you want to change this will be set to whatever you saved it as. When you click save, whatever you save this as, that's what the instructions will be saved as every day. You have to turn it on and off because the strategies that you see here today are most likely not all of them are back here tomorrow. So if it's a new strategy, it won't be enabled because you haven't enabled that strategy. So every morning you got to enable them. You don't have to edit the instructions if you don't want every morning, but I think that's a personal thing. If I'm automating, there might be things that I want to change based on given days and, what the market looks like and things like that, because, I'm a firm believer that Holly is, Holly's Holly. She's not my trading strategy. She's not part of my trading plan. So, I have a trading plan that I conduct outside of whatever anything else is telling me. But that's, each individual trader, up to them. So, all right, it's 4:40. I'm going to wrap up here, everybody. I've got to run for the day. I will be back here like I am every day at 3:30 Eastern tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a prompt out of here on the weekend. 4:41. Take one last look here at this crazy stock in the after hours. Can't help but look. Floating around, not doing anything after hours right now. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Hope that was informative. Thank you for the questions, the comments, and we will catch you back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. You have a wonderful rest of your Thursday evening. Bye.